Today we're going to be talking about making high-impact plant combinations. All the pictures were taken by Sherry Shung and Sharon Andrews, and all the gardens that we're going to see are in the Portland metro area. One of the most satisfying elements about gardening is when you create, either by plan or accident, wonderful plant combinations. It's like assembling a new outfit. It's a matter of blending similarities and differences in pleasing proportion to one another. This garden is in North Portland. There are three principles that are behind high-impact plant combinations. The first is color scheme. Your eye sees color the very first thing, and then it sees size, shape, form, and texture. But color doesn't have to come only from flower. It comes from inanimate objects, and it comes from foliage. The dark colors of the Semicifuga black negligee in the background on the left provide contrast to the yellow Hakenkloe in the foreground, the grass. The soft blue-green of the hellebore on the left mimics the softness of the yellow in the Hakenkloe. Texture has two key aspects. The first one is shape, which is the visual outlines you can see. For example, the grassiness, the round leaves, and the conifer leaves, which are kind of spiky. The second is tactile or surface. These are the ribs, the puckering, sheen, fuzziness of leaves. This garden is in North Portland. Decide on a color scheme. Complementary colors or similar hues make the difference between a warm palette and a cool palette. You want to group colors that share common pigment, such as violet, red violet, or blue violet. You can choose a hot or cool palette. From there, choose opposites on color wheels, maybe two like yellow and purple. So in this slide on the left, the warm palette has yellow abutilon, red begonia, yellow licorice plant, and an orange-red calabrachoa. The cool palette has a combination of senecio, angel wings, and the purple Laurentia blue stars. This is a combination of hot orange and heart pink, which draws your eye to the rest plate in the background. What makes this combination amazing is the steel blue of the conifer to contrast the hot palette. This garden is in Southwest Portland. Nothing is more restful than a skillfully assembled group of foliage plants. There are subtle shades of tints of green. You have the icy green of the brunnera in the foreground, which contrasts with the variegation in the fascia in the back. There are pronounced differences in the leaf sizes, shapes, and patterns. So color in the garden has primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Here they're represented by the red zinnia, the yellow rose, and the blue delphinium. The secondary colors are orange, which is red and yellow, green, which is yellow and blue, and purple, which is red and blue. The jelly bean theory. I came up with this after walking through neighborhoods for a couple of years with my dog. And I look at gardens to see what's new, is there plant combinations I like, can I name all the plants, and just to see what's happening. But sometimes there are gardens that I stop and look at because they're jarring to me, and I couldn't figure out why. And after a while I figured that it's because I couldn't see a pattern or a flow. And then sometimes when I work with clients, they ask me what's wrong with my garden. They buy the plants that they like and they usually put them in a hole that's open. Not specifically anywhere special, just because there's an opening. And their garden doesn't have a flow. And then after I explain to them what's working and what's not working, then they can see it and it works out. So here's the jelly bean theory. I took a jar of jelly beans from Costco, and a jar has 49 different colors. Our garden too can have 49 different colors. But if you look at the jelly bean jar, your eye hops around trying to find a flow or a pattern. It's like a Jackson Pollock painting. Jackson Pollock paintings are extremely expensive and very popular. But my eye tries to figure out where the blues are and where the reds are. I'm trying to find a pattern. And sometimes the garden is like this. But if this is what you like, then that's perfect for you. Then I divided the jelly beans into 10 different shades. So I have 10 bowls with 10 different shades of color. Then I found 2 glass vases and put the warm colors to make up a warm palette, and I put the cool colors in the glass vase to make a cool palette. Now your eye can flow from color to color without jumping all around. The value of color determines how light or how dark the colors are in your garden. When you garden in a garden for a long time, if you're lucky enough to be in one place for a long time, you change, your garden changes, your colors change, the plants you like change. This garden has grown over 10 or 15 years, and it started on the very left-hand side where the white rose and the pink gladiola are. And then as the garden grew, you can see that the gardener's tastes change, and now she's into hot colors, the hot orange, the hot red. And you can look at the purple, and that's the transition color in this garden. The white also is a transition color. But look at the lonely pink gladiola in the background. It's just smothered by all the dark value of color that the rest of the garden has. Bright colors in full sun. Look how these just shine. The yellow rudbeckia and the pink monarda. They have high energy. But look at this. Primary colors add energy and excitement. So here you have the red-orange of Lucifer crocosmia. And then the white daisies kind of toned down. This is a very crisp, clean picture. But what if, instead of the white daisies, you had a yellow rudbeckia? The energy level would be entirely different. Here you have same color but different shapes. This is a garden called Florimagoria in southwest Portland, and it's one of my favorites. They've taken the poppies who have lost their flowers and painted the seed pods orange, purple, and kind of a soft gray. And these are the colors that the gardens use to paint the walls of their garden. And what they've also done is then pick up the color purple with different flowers in the front. It's a winning combination. This is a garden of Darcy Daniels, who's a landscape designer in Northeast Portland. And this is along her driveway. It's about 5 feet wide, maybe by 30 feet long. So she's taken the color orange and used different shades of orange and different plants with all the oranges. Look how wonderful it is. It's just a saturation of color. The colors of the foliage of the grasses in the front and the coleus give another dimension of color. This is a very soft combination of energy. The apricot of this daylily is picked up by the indumentum of the rhodie, which appears on the undersides of the leaves. It's usually cinnamon brown in color and resembles felt. This is a very calm, serene combination of colors. This is a garden in southwest Portland, and this is the view from the owner's bedroom that they've created. They have a waterfall, and to the left of it they have a hot tub. Contrast the shininess of the leaves in the foreground with the matte of the ferns and conifers. You have spikiness, rounding, all contribute to tapestry interest, but with one color, green. Then you go through the gate of this owner's property, and this is what you see. The yellow hack and chloe grass, and then a green grass in front of it, and then the start of their patio. But what if the green grass was replaced with black mondo grass? You would have entirely different feeling and energy. And because this mondo grass is surrounded by concrete and rocks, it can't escape. You want to use bold foliage for bold effects. You design for drama. This is in the Florimagoria garden. Look how spiky and unusual the plant is. It's got that blue-green softness. And then the rocks to the left are carved into the shape of snails. Isn't that cool? This makes me laugh every time I see it. You can have inanimate object as a color. This is a garden in southwest Portland, and this planting is in a long metal trough that's about 9 feet long by 3 feet wide. And in it they've put white petunia and blue lobelia. Very common plants, but they have transition colors. So you could put anything in here. These owners have put 3 agave plants in there with apricot flowers. Who does that? It's very cool. And then they've added a whimsical dragonfly ornament for good measure. When you're thinking of making a combination, sometimes it's easy to start with a lead player and then surround it with a supporting cast in flowers and foliage. In this combination, there's the lily, and then to the left of that is a burgundy eucomis that picks up the burgundy in the lily. And then in the background you have pink echinacea, which also picks up the pink in the lily. And then there are contrasting shapes and structure around it. So you have harmony and contrast. Harmony is the product of likeness. Contrast means difference, which equals drama. You combine these for excitement and peace. This one has variations in height and structure. You can also think of this as thriller, filler, and spiller. The star of this combination is the Hack and Chloe in the red pot. The colors are picked up by the barberry admiration and the rust-colored globe on the left. The greens play a supporting role with texture and foliage. And you have the triangle of the red pot, barberry, and globe. And in the background, that tall grass on the left-hand side is morning light. It's a miscanthus. It picks up the grassiness of the Hack and Chloe and ties this whole combination together. This garden is in southwest Portland. So high-impact designs use form, texture, and color to create contrast. Form is mounding, spiked, or trailing. Texture is bold, spiky, smooth, feathery, lacy leaves. Color with foliage, green, blue foliage, yellow, red, gray variegated. Then you have flower color, monochromatic, analogous, and complementary. Monochromatic means the same color, like all green. Complementary colors are those that are opposite each other on the color wheel, like red and green. And analogous colors are groups of 3 colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Tapestry in the garden is created by weaving plants to create a pleasing combination. The deep bronze of the astilbe on the left-hand side contrasts with the soft blue of the hellebore, the soft pink of the hydrangea, which then picks up the pink coloring in the belia in the middle. This would be a cool palette combination. Plant combinations must enjoy similar growing conditions. Successful combinations of plants have a common thread. They all get along. They have the same sun, shade, and watering requirements. The gaillardia in the middle of this picture says, "Look at me," and then it's surrounded by barberry, conifer, and the pink bronze grass in the front. This is in my garden along my driveway. And the lupin in the back is called Great Expectations. It has yellow and orange. Then there's a salvia called Love and Wishes and has a deep saturated purple. The barberry is a bronzy orange color called Admiration. Then I planted the purple scabiosa in the very front to give my eye a place to rest from all the high dynamic energy of the other colors. This is in my backyard. I was creating a cool palette. The silver leaves of the Senecio angel wings is repeated with silver in the cement leaf. They also pick up the white variegation in the leaves of the alstroemeria to the left, which has apricot flowers in the summer. I put some ice blue rocks in the cement leaf, and that just wasn't enough. There was nothing drawing my eye, this combination. And then I found 2 blue glass balls, and I put it in there, and all of a sudden, I'm happy. Sometimes Mother Nature creates her own design. I have a 9-bark Isocarpus, which has bronze leaves and white flowers all summer. But the bronze leaves were too close in color to the soil underneath. So I planted an Artemisia silver mound, and I was happy. But Mother Nature decided it needed something else. And these pansies arrived one year from a garden pot that I'd had the year before. They survived, and they moved in. And they've come up for the last 2 years. Every time I come by this combination in my backyard, it just makes me smile. Thank you for coming.